Edmonton's best rock. 100.3 The Bear.
Edmonton's best rock, 100.3 The Bear. My name is Lochlin Cross, and I have got Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails on the phone with me. Honored to have you. Thank you very much for this, Trent.
My pleasure.
New album out. It's called Hesitation March. Show on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing you live. How long has it been since you've been in Edmonton? It's been a couple of years, hasn't it?
That's a good question. I mean,
like 4 or 5?
It's been several years.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. People are very excited about the show. And you know what? And I want you to be honest with me on this. You're not going to hurt my feelings at all with this question here. Do you like doing this radio stuff, these press junket things?
I mean, is it something I like to do? No, I don't mind, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't do that much of it, quite frankly. So when I do, it's small little bits, and it's no problem. The
question that I have today on my show, the topic is, and it's based on this girl that I met the other day who had a tattoo of her boyfriend's name, who's now an ex on her wrist. And I wanted to know if you had any tattoos.
I've got 0 tattoos.
I thought that. I was looking at pictures. I was like, I don't think Trent has any tattoos. If you were to put somebody's name on you, who would it be?
It's honestly something I never really even thought about. Back in the day when having a tattoo was, dangerous or wasn't the mainstream thing. Some friends of mine were getting them, and I was never committed enough. It's like putting on a shirt to me that I could never take off. I'm not sure that I was going to be that person. So I never really thought that much about it. And now it's kind of, you're the anomaly if you don't have a tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've thought about my kids. I've thought about my wife, but at the same time, I've made it this far.
Why now? I watched that Sound City thing that Grohl put out, which I thought was really, really cool. But one of the more fascinating sort of moments in that documentary was you with Josh and Dave in the writing process, which I was blown away by it. 3 very different artists and in the middle of creating. What band or artist would you like to work with that you haven't at this point in your career? Is there somebody that comes top of mind?
No, that's a good question. I mean, there's always been people I've been intrigued by, wondering what that process might be like. I was just thinking about this because I reached out to him to do a remix. Todd Rundgren is always somebody I've always admired, for his, which may not be an obvious choice, but someone that had a great influence on me. Coming up in terms of one guy that always had a vision that was also very varied in what he could do as a producer and also as an artist. People like Brian Eno I've always admired and wondered what that would be like, a little more so in the past than currently. Prince, somebody I've always admired.
That's cool.
I'm just riffing here.
All right. Has the writing process changed for you over the years?
Yeah, very much. I mean, writing to me has always been a battle of me against me, and what I mean by that is it's probably been the most difficult thing I've ever tried to do. It's like staring at yourself with surgical lighting, searching for something, waiting for something to happen. And I used to set the stage for that to be the most unpleasant, terrifying experience ever, It would yield a great result if I did something I really thought was great, if I turned some feeling of ugliness into something that had some element of beauty or that had worth to it, and instead of punching a wall, if a song came up, that was a great result. But to get there was a pretty difficult process and an unpleasant one. And I think in recent years, just readdressing the process and thinking about it differently and actually being able to enjoy the process of discovery and trying things and not all of them working and having the courage to know that when it doesn't work, just throw it out or put it aside. Not everything is going to be great. Eventually I think you do wind up with things that become great, and so the process has changed, and it's something I find it's more like solving a riddle now rather than trying to conjure something out of thin air and just hope it happens to happen.
Now, over the years, there's been talk that you've been difficult to work with in that writing process, and based on what you just said, maybe you shed some light on that. Are you easier to work with now? Like if you brought somebody into this fold and you said, okay, let's create? Well,
I mean, the thing about the Sound City thing that's strange is I don't I've never been comfortable, and I still am not very comfortable with open collaboration like that. And that was very intimidating for me because it was, hey, do you want to show up and do an interview? Hey, do you want to write a song? And there's cameras on you right now with two guys that are, can be somewhat intimidating. They're both friends of mine, but at the same time, I have a lot of respect for them. To be thrown into a place in their world, kind of openly jamming on something while it's being filmed, it's an unforgiving situation, So it wasn't a comfortable thing for me to do. And through the years, that's not how I create usually. It's not usually in an open, let's just try things out idea or environment. Where I think I'm difficult is I do expect, if I'm going to collaborate, then let's do something great. Let's focus on it. Let's do the best thing we can do. And I'm trying to set a high bar of excellence, with anything I do, and aim for that. And I think sometimes that gets me into situations. Let's put it that way.
I want to stick with the theme comfortable. Are you comfortable with the label industrial rock? Do you think that explains what you do adequately?
No, and I've never been really the one waving that flag around. I mean, that was, I understand there's a need to be categorized. It makes it understandable and quantifiable to people. And I also understand why we're tagged that. And I don't hate the tag, but when I sit down to work on things, I don't see myself as that and try to put myself in that category and behave that way. I'm certainly influenced by what I think has been dubbed industrial music, and that's a pretty wide-ranging category to those that really know what it's all about. And I think there's aspects of that we would adhere to, and there's some that we're kind of widely outside that. So I don't feel strongly about it. I understand it. I'm not upset about it, but I don't see myself as that completely.
We had to wait after Downward Spiral came out. We had to wait 5 years for the Fragile, and then we had to wait 6+ years for With Teeth. What was happening during that time?
I was very high. I was just trying to figure things out, really, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Downward Spiral, I think when you say it like that, it makes it sound like lots of gaping holes of nothing happening. But the reality of what happened when Downward Spiral came out is we toured for 2.5 solid years, which eats up time. And, I was just going through a process, really, and trying to figure out who I was. And I was doing what I thought was the right thing, which at that time was self-medicating and trying to adapt to, a life that kind of flipped upside down. Everything in my world changed. After Downward Spiral came out, it was just things changed, being treated differently by everybody and having a different level of success. And I wasn't really equipped to deal with that as an adult or even as a person. And started to fall into different traps of ways I thought I could deal with it. And that worked for a little while, or at least I thought it did, and then it didn't work. And I've tried to, I put my career, what am I trying to say, at the expense of a well-thought-through or well-planned career. I've only tried to put out music when I felt I had something that I could really say effectively and adequately, and if I had something to say. Mm-hmm. And it's taken me a while to get into places where I feel that it's worth your time.
I get the sense that you might enjoy working on music for film. Is that fair to say?
Oh, very much so, yeah.
What is it about working with music for film that you like?
Well, when I kind of stumbled into really doing it, a few years ago with David Fincher, it was exciting because it was a way to work in a familiar medium of creating music and soundscapes and trying to like when I work on my own music, I have something to say lyrically or an emotion I'm trying to create, and then I try to dress that statement or words or melody with an environment or a place or a soundscape that helps deliver the message, that sets the stage properly. And in a lot of ways, that's like scoring a film. And I think Fincher picked up on that a bit. And when he asked me to work on Social Network and Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, it was a chance to collaborate with something where I'm not the one writing the words, or I'm not the one standing on center stage, but I'm coming in to dress the set with motion and sound and kind of embellish the mood and collaborate that being the most exciting part, actually truly collaborating with somebody that's calling the shots, and in an environment where I felt very respected, and I had an immense amount of respect for him, and it was just a fun way to work. It was interesting to work outside myself a bit, and that was rewarding.
I loved the Immigrant Song, what you did with it. I just thought that was so cool.
It turned out pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, loved it. Outside of the fact that you don't have any tattoos, which I still find surprising, what would be the most surprising thing that you could tell me right now about yourself?
I'm standing in the window of my hotel, completely naked.
Not sure I wanted to hear that, Trent. Not going to lie to you. I am surprised. The new album is called Hesitation Marks. Marks that are produced by testing a blade weapon before attempting suicide or self-harm. Have you ever thought about suicide?
I've thought about it, certainly. That's all I've done about it, but it's crossed my mind, certainly in dark times.
I really want to thank you for this. Very cool. I was really looking forward to the chance to actually chat with you, and you did not let me down. And I look forward to the show on Sunday night. Good sir.
Thanks for having me.
Trent Reznor from 9 Inch Nails. You have yourself a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
Edmonton's best rock. 100.3. The Bear.